Please recite Surah Al-Fatiha. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام أشرف المرسلين وخاتم النبيين أكمل مجتبى بقاسم محمد مصطفى الله وعلى طيبين الطاهرين لا إله إلا الله جل الجبار لا إله إلا الله عزيز الغفار لا إله إلا الله وحيد القهار لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له إلها واحدا نحن له مخلصون لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له إلها واحدا نحن له مسلمون لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له إلها واحدا نحن له عابدون قال الله تعالى في محكم كتاب عزيز بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وآمنوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر صلوات اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. Why are our prayers not accepted? As we dig further into the question in which was asked of Imam Ali alayhi salam by that man who was listening to his khutbah, the Imam, he gave us another prerequisite of why our prayers are not being accepted. He said that you believe in the messenger, but you oppose his traditions, you reject his teachings, but yet, where is the fruit of the belief? When we see this and we look into what the Imam said about one more prerequisite on how we can have our prayers or our du'as accepted, it is no doubt that he says that we believe in the messenger. We believe in Rasulullah. We know that he came with the truth. He came with the haqq. No doubt about it. We know that Rasulullah has been placed on this earth as a guide for all of us. We have no doubt about that. There is nothing that we can say or so someone could say to us that make us think anything other than that. But when it comes down to his traditions, we find that a lot of people oppose his tradition, his sunnah. We can give an example of people when they read in certain books about Kulayni, when it said, I leave you two worthy things, the Quran and family. Some people reject it even back then. And we see the same thing even to this day. When it comes down to the sunnah and tradition of Rasulullah, they leave it alone and go to a sunnah or tradition of someone else or some other people, unfortunately. So we find that throughout all our life, people are constantly rejecting the tradition of Rasulullah, not thinking that Allah, He has sent him down as a guide to mankind, that he is the perfect being to guide man out of the darkness into the light. If not, Allah would not have sent him down with the message. Allah, He sent him down with a pure message because we know Allah is pure, and the one who brought down that message was pure. So of course that message is going to be received by someone that is pure, and that is Rasulullah. And he only speaks the words in which Allah commands him to speak. It is not out of his own accord. So when it comes down to practicing the sunnah of Rasulullah, it is a must. We're told that The best thing for you to do is to practice the sunnah. It said the best thing in the eyes of Allah is the one who practiced the sunnah or the tradition of Rasulullah, even if it is something small. Even if it's small tradition from the Prophet of Allah, that if we practice it, Allah is happy with us. Just something small. Just think, if we was to implement the sunnah in our life, how our life would be. Even if we turn away or we dissociate ourselves and turn away from the sunnah, we are told to turn back towards the sunnah of Rasulullah. Because Rasulullah is our guide. But then it goes to his teachings. How people reject the teachings of Rasulullah. It is almost that we think, or some people think, that they are better than Rasulullah. It is almost like his uncle, I think it was Abu Jahl, one of them. And he said to one of his friends, he said, Muhammad was trustworthy before he got this revelation, and he's trustworthy now. So he said to his companion, he said, it seems that you believe in his prophethood. He said, how can I believe in him? I cannot believe in him. The women folk would never respect me if I believed in him. Even though he knew that he was the messenger, but he rejected the sunnah, even though he saw the characteristics of Rasulullah from a very young age, all the way up until he got the wahi, got the revelation, and he continued to be trustworthy, a kind, caring person, but yet he rejected it. This is the same attitude that some people have to this day when it comes down to the tradition and sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi. Then we start looking at the other part in which Imam Ali alayhi salam said that about rejecting the teachings. How people reject the teachings. Now, we're not talking about people that do not believe in Islam. We're talking about the people that believe in Islam. The people that believe Prophet Muhammad is a prophet, and that Allah has chosen him, that he is Khatamul Nabi, he is the seal of all prophets, that we believe all these things. But then when it comes down to his teachings, we reject it. One of the examples of a teaching in which people reject is when he teach us about akhlaq, about morals. About akhlaq. Allah said that he has sent down the best characteristic in a person through Rasulullah. They say his characteristic is sublime, that he is perfect. I didn't say it. He didn't say it. Allah said that his characteristic, his akhlaq is immaculate. So he is our example. So when it comes down to teachings, we must look towards Rasulullah and see, how can I be like Rasulullah when it comes down to good nature? His nature was so good, his akhlaq was so good. They said that one time a Yahudi came because Rasulullah had owed him some money. And they said, the Yahudi said, well, I want my money. And Rasulullah said, I do not have it at this time. The Yahudi, he said, well, I'm not going to leave until I get my money. Rasulullah said, as you like, stay. So they said the man, he stayed from Dhur, Asa, and in between that, the companions wanted to hurt him or do something to him because he didn't like the way he talked to Rasulullah, and Rasulullah said, no, leave him. So the man, he stayed for Dhur, he stayed for Asa, he stayed for Maghrib, he stayed for Aisha, he stayed all the way till Fajr time. And when that time came, and he saw the characteristics and the good akhlaq that Rasulullah had, He himself, he forgave Rasulullah of that debt and he took his shahada. This is the sunnah of Rasulullah, that people learn about Islam not through our words, but through our character. This is the sunnah. This is the teachings of Rasulullah. And as those who follow Rasulullah, that for a fact that we believe that he is the messenger of Allah, that we must follow that same type of way. We must follow that same type of way. We must have the most immaculate characteristics, the good, so good that people can tell that we are not like other people. They say, oh, Abdullah, you're not like these other people. You're different. Well, what are you talking about? No, it's just something about you. You just bring me towards you. We're not supposed to bring people away from us. We should bring people towards us, because Rasulullah, through the morals in which he had that we're supposed to emulate, brought people towards him. I remember one time it was a halal restaurant I used to go to. And in this restaurant, they had a non-Muslim girl working there. Everybody's Muslim. So I said to her, wow, have you ever thought about becoming Muslim? She said, yes, I thought about becoming Muslim until I started working here with the Muslims. I'm like, astaghfirullah. She said, I thought about becoming Muslim until I started working with the Muslims. So as you can see that these people rejected the sunnah. They did not follow the characteristics of Rasulullah, because if she was amongst them and we was practicing the way Rasulullah did things, she would have took her shahada and became Muslim, not run away from this. This is a big problem. Very big problem. Rasulullah, he said himself that Allah has sent him down to mankind to correct the morals of people. He is sent down as a prophet to correct the morals, the akhlaq, to give us that beautiful akhlaq. To show us the correct way of beauty, because as human beings, we see beauty differently. Let's give an example. Let's say, for instance, I go somewhere and I see someone, and this person, he or she has a nice suit on. Very clean suit. Maybe one of those Armani suits, maybe. It's really nice, pressed clean, have good attire on, smells very good. Looks very beautiful for our eyes. We'll say, this person is very beautiful. And then we'll walk down the street and we see another person, their clothing is dirty. They might not have the smell in which the previous person had. We would say this person is ugly. But then when we go and talk to that person that perceives by our eyes to be beautiful, we start to say to ourselves that this person is ugly. Not from the outside, but within. And the other person that we looked and saw to be ugly, that beauty that he had or she had from inside illuminates out, and it starts to shine upon a person, and you said that this person is beautiful. So we start to see that the way that Western society or society see beauty is not the correct way of beauty. The beauty is what is inside of a person, that great akhlaq, that beauty that comes out, and it shines, illuminates on everyone that's around them. This is true beauty. This is the beauty that Ahl Bayt was teaching us. This is the sunnah of Rasulullah that we must practice when it comes down to the teachings of Rasulullah. So this is beauty. This is beauty. We get the wrong conception of what beauty is and what is beautiful, like beautiful akhlaq, beautiful behavior. This is beauty. When a person, you start to talk to this person and you say to yourself, where do I know this person from? This brother, this sister, they treat me, they talk to me as though I knew them all my life. And you sit there and you start to wonder, have I met this person before? as though I have a connection. This person is so beautiful. His or her character is so spectacular. It is not that they have met you before, but they realize this is the character, this is the akhlaq in which Rasulullah has taught us, and he follows or she follows the sunnah of Rasulullah by letting that emulate and shine upon others as well. This is because, as Luqman al-Hakim, he said to his son, because you know the wisdom in which he gives to his son can also pertain to us and our children. Because when he talked to us, almost like our father is talking to us and giving us some good guidance. He said that the one who has good behavior, he makes a stranger family. He makes a stranger family because he has good akhlaq. The stranger becomes family. But the one who has bad akhlaq, he makes family becomes a stranger. He makes the family become a stranger. But a stranger becomes family because of this akhlaq. This is the teachings in which Rasulullah has imparted upon us, those follow him. When we look at all of these things and we start to evaluate how do we deal with ourselves and how do we deal with people, do we have this akhlaq that the Rasulullah has taught us? But not just Rasulullah, but what about the other prophets of Allah? Since we are Muslims, we follow other prophets of God. What about the akhlaq of Isa ibn Maryam? Do we also look at his akhlaq as well? Because at Shia, we have a lot of riwayah from Isa ibn Maryam about things. How he looked at things, how he used to teach his disciples. They used to refer to him as a teacher of good. The teacher of good. So imagine someone refer you as the teacher of good. That means you brought down glad tidings, goodness. You show them good morals, good akhlaq. You guide them towards the truth. Exactly how Rasulullah tries to do with those who follow him. This is a condition in which Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali alayhi salam said that we must have for us to get our du'as accepted. One of the muqaddamas of getting our du'as accepted is, even though we accept and we know who Rasulullah is, we do not reject his sunnah, we do not reject his traditions. We follow his teachings. We do all of the above. And we have to understand, even though you may have knowledge, knowledge without action does not mean anything. A person could be well equipped with all the knowledge in the world, but if he or she does not practice what they learn, it is just information, it is not knowledge. Knowledge is something that would change not only how you think, but also your actions. So when you think and you know about the benefits of having good akhlaq in your mind, and you change your thought pattern on how you should treat people, and now all of a sudden your actions start to change. So they found that, they said that Abu Ali Sina, they said at a young age he knew all the sciences. So one time he went to go see this one scholar that was very famous and he was teaching. His name was Abu Ali Muskuya. I think it was Ali Muskuya. And at the time he was teaching. And it said Ali Abu Sina, he had walnuts in his hand. And while the teacher was teaching, he threw the walnuts in front of the teacher and said to him, calculate the crustaceans or the curves in this walnut. They said at that moment the teacher reached and gave him the book on akhlaq. He gave him Kitabu Akhlaq. He said, until you read this book and master this book, come back and I will answer your question. But you see that even though this person, he knew the sciences, he was very intelligent, but his akhlaq is bad. So it does not matter if you may have the knowledge and if you do not use it. This is the thing. It really doesn't matter. Even if you was to lose everything in the world, all your wealth, whatever you have, you should never lose your good character, your akhlaq. Even the money that you have to take care of your family, your friends, and everything else, it is more important that you do not lose your akhlaq, lose the good behavior. You must not, even though you lost everything, to have good behavior, good akhlaq is more important than having all the wealth in the world. But of course, people is like, if I have all the money, who cares about good akhlaq? This is not correct. Money is something that is a tool. Akhlaq brings you closer to Allah Azza wa. Bad akhlaq brings you away from Allah Azza wa. The importance of good akhlaq, we see that every prophet, Rasul, Nabi that came down after teaching about Tawheed, they talk about akhlaq. For us to purify ourselves and to become better human beings, to get away from that level of our animal self, to become a human being, human self, and all the way up to the spiritual self, where man can climb to be better than the angels when it comes down to worshiping Allah Azza wa. This is how it can be. The best thing that we can do is pass on good morals to our children. The best thing. A lot of times we think that the best thing we could leave our children is the big house, the money, the cars, and everything. But the best thing that we could leave our children is that akhlaq that we learn from Rasulullah. Because when wealth is gone, what you will have? You will have the akhlaq, the good morals. When you teach them the good morals, people will love them because of the morals. Even their enemies will love them because they will say, yes, he or she is my enemy, but their morals, they have immaculate morals. Their morals are so great that I respect them even though he or she is my enemy. Even though he or she is my enemy, I still love this person because of the akhlaq, the morals in which he or she has. So akhlaq is very important. Very important. Muhim jiddan, as you may say, right? Very important. Sometimes you may say jiddan more, so to show the emphasis or importance of it, to have it. You know, one time, we think about one time it was Imam Ali alayhi salam. This is a time when he was the Khalifa. And they say Imam, he used to always frequent the souk, the markets. Just walk around the markets as the Khalifa. So they say one time he was in the date market, and he saw a little girl, and she was crying. And he asked her, what's wrong? She said, my master gave me a dirham to get some dates, and I bought some dates from this vendor, and when I brought it back to my master, he did not like the quality of the dates in which I brought. So he told me to go back to the vendor and get my money back and get some dates somewhere else. So the imam, he went to the vendor and he told him, look, this girl, she is a slave girl. She had no control over herself. Her owner did not like the dates in which you sold her. Please give her her money back. So the man refused. And the riwayat said the man, he came from behind and he poked or like pushed the imam. That he pushed Imam Ali. So at this moment, all the people start rushing and gathering. And the way they was like, oh, you know what you did? Do you know who this is? And when they said this is Imam Ali, he got ashamed. He became ashamed. His face changed, his colors changed. He said, oh, please forgive me, accept my forgiveness. Please do not be upset with me, be pleased with me. The Imam said to him, I am not going to be pleased with you until you correct your behavior, till you correct your akhlaq. As a believer, you should know that we should treat everybody good. Regardless if this person is free or a slave, even this person is for the east or the west, north or south, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if a person has some type of stature or don't. We should treat everybody good. We see that when he found out that the imam, it was the imam, he asked for forgiveness. Only because he found out it was the imam. But just imagine if that was someone else. He would not have asked for any forgiveness. His akhlaq would have shown a negative, something negative. He would stay negative. He wouldn't have returned that girl, return the money to the girl. He wouldn't have did nothing. He wouldn't have asked for forgiveness. When you have good akhlaq, it doesn't matter who you are. You must treat the person with kindness. This is the teachings of Rasulullah. I remember one time I was lecturing, maybe like 15, 16 years ago. I was lecturing at a community in Florida, like 15, 16 years ago. And I was staying somewhere and I saw there was a restaurant that said halal food. And I was hungry because I just came there and I had to lecture that night. So I walked across the street into this restaurant and I saw that they only had shawarmas and, stuff like that, fast food. So I said to them, I said, do you have anything other than this, like, real hearty food to eat? So he said, well, we don't have nothing, let me call the owner. So the owner came from the back and I asked him, he said, no, we don't have anything like that. They said, and I said, well, because I'm traveling here and I'm just trying to find some hearty halal food. So the owner, he said, hold on, wait a minute. Stay right here, I'll be right back. So he go in the back. 10 minutes later, he come back. He have a lamb shank, rice, and all types of good stuff. He said, you are a visitor, you are a guest in my city. This is food from my lunch. Please take, eat. You are my guest in my city. So I said, wow, thank you. Thank you so much. Now, mind you, this guy had never seen me before, didn't know who I was at all. So I eat the food, I leave. Later on at night, I go to the Islamic Center. I get on the minbar. Before I get on the minbar, I see the same person there. And I go up to him, mind you, when I was there, I had regular clothing on. When he saw me, I have a mama, everything. I said, wow, Assalamu alaikum. You remember me? He said, no, I don't remember you. Who are you? I said, man, I was just at your restaurant and you fed me. You gave me that food. You treated me like a guest, And he was like, oh, that's you. I was like, subhanAllah. He didn't know, I didn't know that later on that night I would be lecturing a center in which he's at. He never seen me. He didn't know my name. He didn't know nothing about me. He didn't know whether I was Shia, Sunni, Wahhabi, whether he didn't know nothing. He knew I was Muslim. He knew I was a visitor in that town. He knew I was hungry. He fed me. He showed me the good akhlaq. Didn't know who I was. He didn't care. He just knew that I needed help and he helped me out of the kindness of the goodness, the example, how Rasulullah has shown us. Subhanallah. this is how we all should be when it comes down to having the good behavior, regardless of who this person may be, whether they are up here or down here. We must treat them good. Show the good akhlaq. Bring them closer to Islam and Rasulullah. And when they ask why and how do you have such good akhlaq, say, oh, my Prophet Muhammad, this is the example which he taught me through his sayings, through his actions, through his acceptance. This is his tradition or his sunnah that I follow. This is one of the teachings in which Rasulullah has taught us. So when it comes down to us, we're not going to reject his sunnah. We're not going to reject his teachings. We understand for a fact that he is Prophet of Allah. Because of that, since we are followers of Ahlul Bayt, when it comes down to following his sunnah, we grab hold of his sunnah and we squeeze it tight, as though if it's trying to pull away from us, it will drag us along with it. When it comes down to the teachings of Rasulullah Ahlul Bayt, we run towards them. We don't reject them or oppose them, no. We know that this is the lifeline for us. The traditions and the teachings of Rasulullah is the lifeline of those who truly love Rasulullah, those who truly follow Rasulullah, those who truly believe that Allah has gave him that wahi, has sent us down towards us to help us make ourselves better human beings. And this is how we can make ourselves better human beings. And this is one of the things in which Imam Ali alayhi salam said for us to do if we want to get our prayers accepted. We have to look at these and look into ourselves and see, what are we doing wrong? During the month of Ramadan, this is the time of self-reflection, because now all the distractions are no longer there for this month. We concentrate on the word of Allah and we concentrate on ourselves and see what is wrong with us, because no more distractions. And we start to sit and we say, oh my gosh, I didn't realize that I had this type of bad trait. And we fix that, so the next month of Ramadan we will be a better person, and we work on something else, inshallah. We must follow the sunnah of Rasulullah. We must follow his teachings for us to get our du'as to be accepted. May Allah help us all. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Wal as innal insana lafi khusr illa alladhina amanu wa aminu salihati wa tawassaw bil haqqi wa tawassaw bis sabr. Aqulu da'wana walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Wa sallallahu Muhammadin wa alihi tahirin. Allah.